Joining us now, she's the new head coach at FAU. Is one of the great players of all time at Miami of Ohio. Has had great stints on the staffs and assistants at Ohio State and Arkansas. I speak of Jordan Clark. Joining us now here, the head coach of Florida Atlantic. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me. This is an honor and excited to get to talk to you.
Well, let's talk about this journey. Obviously, ending up being the FAU head coach. How did that all come about? Because your name has been a hot name in the industry. You've been a name that's been, hey, among the top assistants in the sport. So it's not a surprise you're now a head coach, but maybe to some it's that coming at Boca. What was it about FAU that stood out to you, and how did that all come about?
I mean, what not about Boca? You're a mile from the beach. You get to have palm trees in your field. You're in a conference that you get to compete in right away. But no, but really, I've been at some amazing places, and I was always told from really good mentors is, you kind of keep a short list in the back of your mind that when jobs open where you think they're going to open, is it something that you would want? Is it something that you would pursue? And this was a job that from afar at Ohio State this past year, we actually played down in Boca in our non-conference schedule. And so it was such a good experience. And just to hear the student athletes from Ohio State talk about how great the field was, the tournament. And so it really got my wheels spinning a little bit. And so when they reached out and asked if I was interested, then, from there, it honestly just took off and it all happened really fast. And I couldn't be more excited. And it's a dream come true to finally wear the head coaching hat, whether I'm ready or not ready. But, the team's amazing, and the administration has just been so supportive. And so it just made the decision easy, honestly. And when you look across the board and you're deciding to take a job, it's always hard when you know you were in a good spot. It's hard when you had student athletes who you loved and that loved you back and would run through walls for you. But to be so welcomed with open arms with this group, it tells me that I made the right decision so far. So yeah, we're here, we're ready, and ready or not.
Obviously, you take over for the late great Joan Joyce. That also has to be somewhat of an honor too. Somebody that meant so much, not just to softball, but women's sports too. And I mean, that's got to be pretty cool that you're following her footsteps and taking over her program.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that I don't take lightly, right? Like when you say the name Joan Joyce, everyone in the softball community, even the golf community, knows who she is. And so for me, it's something that's a little nerve wracking, right? You're following in greatness, and you want to make sure to honor her, and you want to honor the program and everyone that's come before myself and our players. And so it's something that I'm excited about because I know that we're going to let her tradition live on and continue to honor her. And so I don't take it lightly. And I know that, I will not be Coach Joyce, and I'm going to do things a little bit different, but it doesn't mean that it's doing any ill will on the program or the legacy that she's left. In fact, it's to honor her and to continue that tradition.
Well, and that's the big thing too. I know in getting a chance to kind of get to know you a little bit, you want to you're embracing that history and that tradition that FAU has. It's helped them now. They're going to be in their last year in CUSA. They're going to move to the America, but that's a big part of the vision you have, isn't it? Is the past, the present, the future, if you will, over there.
Yeah, absolutely. When I took the job, it's amazing how many FAU alum are in the coaching world or married to people in the coaching world. And so it's something that for me, I want to continue to cherish those people and to continue to raise the bar high and make people proud. And so, I know that the community, Coach Joyce touched a lot of lives. And, it's just really exciting to hear our players and to hear what they want for the future and what are some goals that they have. And I know championships are on their mind. That's something that hasn't happened in a while. And so how can I help that? How can the past, how can we celebrate the past, but also keep moving towards the future and to bring some new traditions and some new life to the program? And so it's something that just really excites me to know that, you get to make it your own, and we're creating a roadmap to success. And so, we're going to do it our way, but we're also going to honor the past as well.
How was it meeting the players? Because they've been through a lot,
Yeah.
obviously, with obviously Coach Joyce and her passing. It's a unique situation. What was it? How's that been going there, and getting to kind of introduce yourself to them and getting to know you in that process since?
Yeah, the day one you say yes, you get your contract going, and then all of a sudden it's, hey, we're getting on a player Zoom call, we're going to introduce you. And so it's nerve-wracking, right? When you're meeting your team for the first time, a first impression is everything. You can read something about someone in the first 5 minutes that you meet them. And so for them to ask questions in a Zoom call that was supposed to last 10 minutes lasted almost 40 minutes because they were just just so excited and wanted to get to know me, my family. And, I've gotten a chance to talk to them all on the phone. We're text messaging each day. And, as I've been on campus this week for the first week. And so, they're coming by, they're stopping by, they want to go to lunch, they want to go to dinner. And, it just shows that like they are embracing me. And so for me to feel that, like, you're not just taking a softball job. You're not just trying to be a coach and win ball games, but instead you're trying to help these student athletes become better and more confident women. And so to see that they have reached out to me and embraced me, and, change is hard. It is really hard. Some wanted change, some didn't. And the fact that they are giving me a chance, and I kind of talked to them about this, is, when a coach is hired, you have the choice. Now with the portal, you have a choice. Not one player chose to leave the day that I was announced. And so for me, like, all I could say was thank you to the team for embracing me and just giving me a chance and giving me an opportunity to be their coach, to hire a good staff. And I just, I'm really excited to see where this is going to go, and what we can make of it.
What was the sense you got from them? Is it a group that is looking to maybe enjoy the sport, enjoy the game they love so much? Because, Joan Joyce means a lot to them.
Right.
We've all lost family members and people we care about. There takes time to kind of get over that, but there could be something like softball that could help them get through that. Is that part of the goal here where, hey, moving forward, it's gonna be fun again. It's been
Right.
tough maybe for things off the field you can't control, but some of this is also, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna win, but we're also gonna have a good time here, make memories, positive memories.
Yeah. So when I got a chance to talk to the team and have some individual conversations, and when you're looking at a job, you start to look at, okay, what was their record? What were their stats? Like, what can I go in and can I be successful? Right? Like, no one wants to go into a program where, there's just a lot of landmines. And so with this program, it was interesting because you look and it's like they went through tragedy in the middle of their season to lose a coach who later to find out wasn't around a lot of the season because she was sick for them, like for most of the season. And to see that they finished third in conference, they had a 15-9 record. And, they didn't make it to postseason, to regionals, but they won a game in their conference tournament. And so to see and hear them say that they rallied together during those hard times, it made me think, wow, okay, if you can get past something like that and be able to come closer together, then the future is bright for that. And so, it's going to be one of those things that you're moving slowly forward because it's hard to put your heart out there. And, you had a coach that was in the program forever, assistants that they loved. And so for me, they embraced the camaraderie of coming together through tragedy. And so now it's, a couple of things that they have mentioned to me throughout this process is we want to win. We want to win. We know we have the team to win. We want to love softball. We want to work hard. And so hearing those things, it just shows me that they're ready. They're ready for that next step. And that's my goal. And the staff's goal is to get them to that next step. And what that next step is, we don't know yet, right? Like, we could have these lofty goals, but we also want to be realistic. And goal number one is to focus on us. If we focus on us, if we build it off the field, just as if we build it on the field, then we're going to start to see that culture change a little bit and start to feel like we're winners and what it looks different on the field on a daily basis.
Speaking with FAU head coach Jordan Clark here on In the Circle. Let's kind of start here at the beginning so people get to know you here. How did you get into softball? You ended up playing at Miami of Ohio, had a great career there, one of the best of all time there. You're among the record holders in many categories, or in the mix for a lot of the records. How did you get involved, though, playing softball and then end up at Miami of Ohio?
Yeah. So I don't know if you hear the little Southern accent, but I'm from a small town in Arkansas. And, softball wasn't a big deal. I played slow pitch until I was 14 years old, moved into fast pitch after that. And, I was the first one in my family to graduate from college. And so it was an opportunity that I remember going through the recruiting process. And it was a little crazy. I tore my ACL. I was out for a year during the primetime recruiting phase. And Miami of Ohio was a school that never lost sight of who I was when it was going good and when it was going bad. And so, for me, it was trusting a coach that was going to believe in me. And so they were the first ones from the time I got hurt to the time I accepted the offer. And so that kind of started the journey to college softball. And, I had a great career. We did some things that have been major that, that are a little unique, right? Like being at Miami, you have to win your conference in order to make it to postseason. And that's the pressure that, you have at a school like that. And so we were able to do that twice. And so for me, it kind of set me up to see like, okay, what is it like to have pressure? What is it like to have to work for something and to stay focused to the end of the season? Because if you don't win the tournament, it doesn't matter. And so playing at Miami opened so many doors. I took a non-traditional route. So I was a school teacher after college. I taught for 3 years. I was a sixth grade teacher. I was the head coach of volleyball, basketball, and track, not softball. I honestly was burned out after college, and that's who I felt like I was defined my whole life was Jordan, the softball player. And so for me, it was like I needed to spread my wings and I needed to find that love and that passion again. I opened up my own facility. I was a teacher. I was coaching other sports, and a crazy opportunity came along. So I started coaching travel ball for the New Jersey Intensity, and my team, it was full of studs. So I got to meet a ton of college coaches, and I'll never forget, I had a conversation with Tim Walton actually, and he kind of said like, what's your plan? Like, are you going to be a teacher? Like what do you want long term? And I told him, I don't know. I went to school to be a teacher, and he really recommended, I think you should get into college coaching. And for me, I actually doubted myself because I wasn't an All-American. No one really knew who I was when I graduated college. And the big stigma around coaching is you have to be this big name, go to this big school, maybe win a national championship in order to get your shot. And so I thought that to change lives, it was meant for me to be in the classroom. And, other people around me were telling me I needed to do it on the softball field. So it led me to Arkansas. And so Arkansas had a volunteer position open, and Courtney Deifel had just taken over the program. She gave me an opportunity of a lifetime. And, she embraced me as if I was her own. Like she said, I don't care that you haven't been in college coaching. We trust you. We believe in you. You're a rock star. Spread your wings. Let's do this. And so, I know that's kind of a long-winded answer, but I've just had amazing people in my life that have trusted me and believed in me. And so it's kind of what keeps pushing me to be the best person that I can be on a daily basis, is to give other people opportunities that they don't think that they deserve at the time. And so, yeah, it led me to Arkansas, and we were able to change a program around in 3 years from, one of the worst in the country to super regionals. And then because the players did so awesome and the staff, it led me to Ohio State. And here I am living the dream and just continuing, surprising myself with, accomplishing all the goals that I've once wanted. So, yeah.
It's an incredible story. I did not know that you kind of left softball. You were teaching, you got away from softball. It sounded like you had burnout.
I did. I'm telling you, it's real. And it's like, I think that it's understanding as a coach when you can see that look in a player's eyes, and it's like, when it's coming. And so for me, it was like, I had a great career. We won, but it was one of those things that I needed to step back, and I needed to find the passion and the love for it again. And just with some crazy opportunities that led me back to the game. And I'm telling you, I think it's made me a better coach being a teacher first, because teaching sixth graders, let me tell you what, you do not know what it's going to be on a daily basis. And you have to learn how to teach people who, their learning styles are a little bit different. You have to learn patience. You have to be able to adjust. And, it's hard because some people would say, okay, that's 3 years that I could be farther along in my career. Right. For me, I look at it as you know what, it was a career. It was coaching. Why does it have to be only in college softball that you have those 3 years of experience added to your resume? And so super non-traditional way. And, but for me, it just shows student athletes, you can do it, right? You want to be a head coach, but you want to go into a different career first, you can do it. And so, just amazing people giving me chances along the way, and just super thankful.
That's amazing. Have you thought about what if you didn't have that conversation with Tim Walton, where you'd be right now?
I would probably be teaching, honestly. I really would. It's funny, he made a phone call for me, and I actually tried to talk him out of making the phone call. I was like, no, I don't need a favor. Please, you'll learn, my personality is very much I can do it myself. Let me prove myself. Let me figure out a way. And when he made that phone call, it just kind of set me up. And the fact that Coach Deifel listened, and, she was willing to take a chance. And I always say, you took a chance on me. She's like, I didn't take a chance. I knew what we were doing. And so it's just really cool. And I just forever am indebted to Tim and to Courtney for giving me those first opportunities into college coaching.
What was it like working for Courtney Deifel, and what did you learn the most from her that you maybe are going to apply now that you're a head coach?
Yeah, she's amazing. I mean, I think that her resume speaks volumes. I think that, anyone that comes in contact with her knows that she's a woman of integrity, and you know what you're always going to get from her. I think that, she showed me what it's like to be strong, what it's like to be confident, and to not be scared of a challenge. And so it's not always going to be easy. Those first years at Arkansas weren't easy. And people thought she was crazy for taking that job. And instead, like, I got to watch her build it from the ground up and to create a really strong foundation, where there wasn't cracks in it, so that it can continue to be successful. I think that it showed me that what it's like to not micromanage your staff. Like, she let us kind of spread our own wings and be who we were as coaches. And I got to see the relationship that she had with the players, and the players knew what they were getting from her. Like, it's very consistent. And then the last piece that really, like, that most people don't know about her is you can have it all, right? Like, you can be a head coach, you can be a mom, you can be a wife, you can be a role model. And, her boys were always running around the field. Her husband was bringing her lunch. And it just showed me that, like, you don't have to be scared in this profession that you have to pick family or you have to pick a job. Like, you can put both, and that the student athletes love that as well. So forever indebted to her. She's one of my good friends and mentors. And so just super thankful.
A lot of people gave you credit for the success Ohio State had this year and building that since your arrival there. In fact, I spoke to Coach Shanley during the season when you guys play UCF, and she gave you a lot. She mentioned energy, that you
Yeah.
brought energy to the program. That's a word that's kind of it's followed you. People that know you say energy is the word that you bring. Just to describe that, and as well as your time at Ohio State.
Yeah. So, I'm a lot. I'll tell you, you can have conversations with me, and it's, you're probably gonna be a little tired after the conversation because my wheels just spin. And but no, I bring energy. Like, I'm a pretty creative person in general. And so I like to keep every day interesting, and I like to bring new tasks and new ideas. And so with the kids, like, it's hard if you show up on a daily basis and people know what's going on in your life, the bad, right? And you show up in a mood, then that's going to affect them. And so I always tell my kids, like, I'm like, hey, like, you should never know what's going on in my personal life. You should never know, because what I show up as every day, this is what you get. You're going to get energy 100% all the time. And I'm going to show you that we can do it. You can show up and be consistent. I just believe that, like, a student athlete, every student athlete's different. Some are super serious and need to be super focused. Some athletes need you to loosen them up and need you to tell them how good they are and how much you believe in them. And, for me, it's Ohio State. Gosh, like, it was hard to leave 4 years, and I blinked and it was over. And the fact that Coach Shanley, like, I call her Coach Kelly, but, like, the fact that she gave me that opportunity. And the nice thing that I really appreciated with all of it is she handed me the offense and she says, it's yours, take it. And so once again, it's another example of a boss who allows you to be who you want to be as a coach. And, you're going to fail. There's going to be games, like, I'll never forget the Michigan State series this year. And Ashley Miller, she made us look silly on the drop ball and the change up. And I stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning because I was like, this isn't happening again. And so I say that because it's coaching, is you never know what you're going to get. And I think that just as much as the athletes give to us, we should give to them and be prepared and kind of bring us some spunk. And yeah, so a lot of energy. That's a word that has kind of followed me. I live by it. I think that in my friendships, my relationships, my job, I think it's everyone across the board can kind of probably use that word to describe me a little bit. So yeah.
You ran the offense for Ohio State, as you mentioned. Describe your style that you want to see when people see FAU softball on the field. What kind of style they're going to see, especially offensively, and then are you going to run the offense at FAU, or you want to be more? Have you figured out what you want to do as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, good question. So, but first of all, I want us to be aggressive. I want us to be confident with a little bit of cockiness. I'm going to be honest. Like, I want, when we step out on the field, like, that we're prepared, that we believe in ourselves. And it doesn't all have to look the same way, right? Like, some hitters and some programs, it's cookie cutter. Everyone has to look the same and do the same. And so for me, it's every athlete is a little bit different, right? In an offense and in a philosophy, you have some non-negotiables hitting wise that, in order to be successful, you need to do X, Y, and Z. So we're obviously going to have that, and that's going to be the development phase. And that's what I believe is, like, I want my current team at FAU to know, like, I chose you. Like, I chose you. Like, there was options, and I chose to be here, and I chose to want to develop you. And so I do plan on running our offense. I think that I'm planning on hiring really good people around me that can help me do that, because I know like wearing the head coaching hat, you're going to be pulled in some different directions. And so it's going to be definitely a team effort offensively, and, really going to rely on the people that I surround myself with. And I want it to be a universal, like, I don't want it to be only one person can talk about the offense. Like for us, it's, the whole staff is going to have some hands in it, and that the student athletes know that they can go to any of us and we're all going to have the same message, right? We all might say it a little bit different, but who do you relate to the most in describing that? So when we talk about an offense, and obviously, like, I was 5'2", slapper hitter, leadoff hitter. So for me, a little spunk, little chaos on the bases, some speed. I think that you can see that. I think I love hitting doubles. I love the long ball. And so I want to find a balance in that offense, that we're not only relying on the long ball, but we can also have some triple threats in the lineup as well. I think that's super important. I think that you see the teams that are the most successful at the end of the season, they have a balanced offense. It's okay to have a couple kids who are more defensive based, as long as we can balance them out with some big offensive weapons. And so I think that that's a key. I am excited. When I look at our lineup and I look at, what they've been offensively in the past, I do think there's room for improvement. And when I hear the girls talk, they're so excited. They're already texting like, hey, can I get drills? Hey, what is some of your offensive philosophies? We want to be ready when you come in. And so it kind of warms my heart, because they want to impress me, and they want to get started on the right foot. And so to me, I just keep telling them, be patient. In the fall, we're going to get after it. Enjoy this little bit of time that you have right now, because we're really going to get to work in the fall.
You got a chance. It was unique. You mentioned earlier, you played in Boca, at
Yeah.
Ohio State. You played at Tampa against South Florida
Yep.
this year. You played at UCF this year.
Sure did.
So you got a tour of the state of Florida.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and it's like, I think everything happens for a reason. Like, I'm a big believer in that in our life, whether, you're someone of faith or you're someone that believes in the universe, whatever it is. But I do think everything happens for a reason. And so the fact that I was able to see all of our competition, see all the other facilities, it just kind of got me ready for what this big life change was going to be. Moved 18 hours away from where we were living, and the state of Florida. I will tell you what, I've been here since Monday, and walking outside and seeing palm trees, sunshine, water, I'm a much better human. And it's just, I wake up every day and I've taken a picture of a different palm tree every day I've gone on campus. And I'm just so blessed and thankful that this is what I get to call a job with the state of Florida. It's something that, like, being at Arkansas and being at Ohio State, like, recruiting connections were going to be a little bit different from the start, just because we had hit different bases. And so just to hear the travel ball coaches start to reach out, and just to hear people excited to send kids my way, like, it just knows that you're in the right spot. I think, because when you take a job, you always ask yourself, are people going to want to work for me? Are travel ball coaches going to send their kids to me? What's the sell going to be? And so to see that people have gone out of their way to welcome me and to show me a little bit of love and show the program love is pretty priceless.
Well, and I would imagine the success in the state from other programs you saw. I mean, Florida, obviously Florida State, everybody's well documented. You saw UCF this year, the team they had,
Yeah.
end up hosting a regional and got to a super regional from the American Conference. And I bring that up because, again, as we mentioned earlier, this will be your last year in CUSA for FAU before going to the American. I would imagine seeing UCF and what Ken Erickson's built at South Florida, there's blueprints there that you could be. I'm sure the message, you could be that when you get to the American by that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I took this job, I'm going to be honest, like, I looked at what UCF did, and I know what UCF once was. And so, what Cindy's been able to do is unreal. And, we got a chance to play there this year, and to see the passion and the energy, one, that she brings as a head coach, and then what the fans had around her. And, it was just something that I've had in the back of my mind, that, like, why can't FAU do that? Why not? Right? Like, when I look at our facilities, when I look at, like, just the resources and just the city of Boca and just some donors, and I'm like, why can't it be that? And so for me, I think that she's done an amazing job, and I can't say that I'm sad to see her go and we won't be in the same conference, because we won't have to compete against each other. But I can definitely look at her and see what she's doing and what that program's doing, and kind of use it as a blueprint, right? Because she showed all of us, what can you do with that level of softball, and that you can put your team on the map if you do it the right way.
Well, I can tell you, UCF FAU has had a long history of rivalry going way back in the days.
Oh, yeah.
Get into. So Who knows? But it speaks to the state. I mean, it's a passionate softball state. They love their football, which you know very well, having been at Arkansas and Ohio State. It's
Yeah.
very similar in that regard. But you've seen also, I think, the passion of softball, and I think you're right.
Mhm.
I think you're in a great position there at FAU to kind of, especially with the move to the American and an AD like Brian White,
Yeah.
who's got energy himself. Obviously, well, how big was that too in your decision and the administration at FAU?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, like it kind of came out of nowhere, right? Like, I kind of had some other things I was entertaining. And I say that because that's how attractive that, Brian made this position, and Andy, our sport AD, and Mary, she's our SWA. And, they really made me feel comfortable. And I'm a people person, and I can tell by a conversation the first time if it's gonna be a good match. And so to see them believe in me and to see them really just be super supportive throughout this whole process, it made me know that like I'm in the right position. I think Brian, like, he has a long history of family ties, and just to see like what they've been able to do, and he gets it, right? He gets it. And if you go on campus and you see the new building, it's the Smith Center with the football team, and you see the football stadium, and you see other athletic facilities, like what they've been able to fundraise and what they've been able to do just shows like the sky's the limit for this place. And I really believe FAU is about to blow up. And I mean that in a good way, in a lot of different ways. And so I'm super thankful for Mr. White. I'm super thankful for Andy and Mary, and just giving me this opportunity. They trusted me. And I said that the first conversation that we had is like, hey, I haven't been a head coach before. I know that. And and some people, they don't want that right away. Like it's a deal breaker. And so, but I do think at some point someone has to give you a chance, and someone has to believe in you. And so the fact that they didn't even bat an eye that I'd never been a head coach, and they trusted my resume, trusted my references, and just really trusted me to be the person for this job. It speaks volumes for them. And I'm really proud to say that I work for Brian in the athletic department.
Obviously, we're gonna try to get you back maybe in the late in the fall there, see how things are going before the season starts. But I'm curious, between now and the fall when that gets going, and then we get to January before the season. What are some of the goals you want to accomplish with your players between now and then that you think it's very important here in the next few months?
Yeah, I think the number one thing is I need to get to know them, right? On the field, off the field. I think in order to build that relationship on the field, a lot of it happens with what we're building with the team off the field. And so for me, it's them understanding that, like, hey, you're people first, right? Your students second, your softball players third. And so, a lot of team activities, my wheels are already spinning. I mean, we got the water down here, we got boats, we got obstacle courses, we got golf courses. I mean, I'm telling you, like, we're going to have some fun this fall, and we're going to do a lot of softball, but we're also going to do some off the field stuff that really brings them together. And so that come spring, they trust each other. I think that's the most important part is, so often we jump right into softball and we forget that they need to get to know each other first. They need to trust each other before you can play next to each other. So a lot of team bonding, a lot of on the field. For me, like, my style of coaching is I like to break it down into small groups. I like to do a lot of development in the fall. We're going to play a full fall schedule, and I think that's really going to dive in. And, like I kind of told the girls, like, it's a clean slate, right? Like, maybe your role, it wasn't what you wanted it to be in the past. And I don't know that, right? Like, I get to walk in, and as long as you're ready to go day one, then the sky's the limit for what you can personally accomplish, no matter where you're at in your career, a freshman or a senior or even a fifth year. I think that's super important. As far as, the end of the fall, like, obviously, like, I'm very big on communication and making sure our student athletes know where they're at, know where they need to go to get ready during the winter months. And then, the spring goes fast. When you come back in January, you blink and season started. So I definitely think that, we have a plan, we have a good roadmap, and, there's always going to be bumps and bruises along the way, and try to adjust for what we need. But I think putting the team first, getting to know each other, them getting to know me, a lot of team activities, and then hitting the field pretty hard with some development is going to be really key.
Couple quick things. How much is your teaching background you apply to your coaching? I would imagine it's a perfect marriage in a lot of ways, right? Because
Yeah.
isn't coaching teaching at the end of the day?
Yeah, I mean, I talk about with our players all the time, and in the past is like everyone's different, right? Like you might be an auditory learner, right? You might need to hear me say something. You might be a visual learner where I physically need to show you, paint you a picture, print off a picture, show you a video. You might be a kinesthetic learner where you need to feel it, like your body needs to be put in the right position. And so that's kind of ways that I talk to our hitters and I talk to our players is like it's you developing who you are, and it's my job to figure out how to get there, right? Like I could tell a kid something and look on their face and they're like, I don't understand. Okay, instead of giving up on that kid because that's the way I teach it, then I'm going to go, you know, try to figure it out. I'm going to try to dive in and how can I teach you in a different way? And so, for me, I think teaching is all about that. Like when you walk into a classroom, you have no idea what you're getting into. And so I really think without those 3 years of teaching in a classroom, I would not be half the coach that I am today. And it's really fun. So it makes me kind of old if I'm being honest, like, and it just it's so full circle, and it's so fun to see that those people who once had an influence on me, because I always say like teachers and coaches make influence on student athletes or in the classroom, like no, like they change our lives and they make us change into who we are. And so to start to see all that and how like I'll use examples from when I was a teacher in the classroom, and I have this big notebook, so I'm kind of a nerd in the sense of like I keep a notebook of every activity I've ever done, whether it was in the classroom, coaching, lessons, and I pull from it all the time. And I try to reinvent the wheel a little bit and try to make it a little bit more entertaining. But I definitely believe in keeping it new, keeping it fresh, and pretty innovative.
No, I think it's great. I mean, these are student athletes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it's teaching them the game and making them better. I think it's exciting, and I'm excited for you that you're coming there. And I would imagine you're excited about your offense being in 80-degree weather most of the year instead
Yeah,
of where you've been the last 4 years. Nothing against the Midwest; it's a great area, but
it is.
there's some weather things that kind of maybe makes it difficult for the offenses to hit a little bit.
Listen,
Right?
okay, so it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, right? So I know the ball flies out at the park. I witnessed it with Ohio State. We had a really good weekend when we had played down here. And so it's really important to get our pitchers strong and confident and really spinning the ball. So the ball's not disappearing out in the palm trees. I want to see that only on our side of the ball instead of when we're on defense. But no, the air is definitely fresh. The wind blows. You got a nice breeze from the beach, and definitely good softball weather.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, among the you'll get used to the last one. What's the one advice you've gotten since you've been named head coach from people
Yeah.
you talk to in your circle, from other coaches? What's the biggest advice you've gotten so far that you're gonna try to remember and maybe write it down?
Yeah. Trust who you are and don't change what you've done. What you've done has gotten you here. Who you are has gotten you here, and you have to stick to that. And there's going to be really hard times, and there's going to be times that you question yourself, but you have to stick to what you truly believe in. Your integrity is always going to be the core of who you are. And you just have to trust that you're ready, and you have to make hard decisions. But you have to know at the end of the day, there's light at the end of the tunnel. So trust who you are, and embrace the challenges along the way.
Well, this has been a blast to get you on the show. This will not be the last time we'll have you on the show. But I know it's super busy time now as you're building the staff, getting everything, moving and everything. But thank you so much for doing this. This has been a blast. Congratulations. Welcome to Florida as a fellow Floridian. We'll definitely, I'm sure, run into each other, and good luck, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. And I'm just really excited to be here, and go Owls.